Hey everyone, welcome to the LEGO Machine Community Podcast, where we talk to veteran LEGO Machine builders about themselves, what they're up to, and about the community. So I'm your host, Mika, also known as TurtleLegoProductions, and we're here with Awab from BlahBricks. So Awab created his channel on March 10th, 2015, and mainly uploaded vending machines. So Awab, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. Been pretty busy, honestly, but other than that, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, that's how it's been. That's how it's been this year.
Yeah, this year's been crazy.
All right, so first question is when did you get started and why?
So I got started in 2015, I believe, March 2015. Uh, I didn't really have a reason. My dad kind of just kept telling me to do it. I used to build, just little machines, follow some tutorials here and there, make up my own. Um, and for my science fair, I believe it was ninth grade, I created my first Mindstorms machine. It was horrible, by the way. Um, but my dad just kept encouraging me to post it, and I did.
That's really interesting. I haven't heard a story like that for people starting off their channels.
Yeah,
I mean, like most people just like do it because they're bored or they just got like really into it. But like that's really interesting how you it started off by someone else just kind of like pressuring you to build it, and you built for a few years and built up your channel to that large of a size because of that one moment.
yeah, yeah. I started having fun with it very early on. I mean, especially since I was already building the machines and all, and with YouTube, that kind of maybe motivated me to be more creative. If I was like just doing it for my own self, I would have been doing it on and off, or maybe not doing as big of creations. But yeah, it started from that very simple thing and went into this whole different thing.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. And second question is how did you come up with your channel name?
That's an even better story. So I was sitting there trying to think of a name for my channel that I didn't really want to start. Couldn't think of anything for a very long time. And for some reason, just how when you can't think of anything, it's like blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can assume where the rest is just blah slap on bricks, and that was my channel name.
That's funny. That's funny. Uh, I mean, like lots of people like really put so much effort into figuring out names and stuff. And then you just hear it like not coming up with anything. You just come up with the first thing that comes to mind, not coming up with anything. That's
Yeah, it's
funny.
basically not coming up with anything.
All right. And third question is, do you have any builders that have inspired you?
Um, obviously, there's a couple I can think of right now. Um, Astonishing Studios for sure. I have to mention him, but someone who influenced me and inspired me a lot more than Astonishing Studios at the time was CheesyBricksStudios.
Yeah.
He was a very big one for me. I remember watching the Me, Myself, and Pie video when it first came out back then. I thought it was cool. I had no idea how it was, but then I got into Cheesy Brick Studios, and that's kind of what started it all for me.
Yeah. I've said this in some other podcasts, but Cheesy Brick Studios is also like the first Lego machines I saw were made by him. My friend was just like showing me some videos. I didn't really pay attention to it much, but like a few years later, I rediscovered them. I was like, "Whoa, what the heck is this? I never knew about this." And then my friend told me about it. I'm like, "What? I didn't even know. Like what?" So yeah, Cheesy Brick Studios hasn't really inspired me, but it kind of like got me started. That was like kind of like the one of the first channels I found out, and that's what really brought me into this community.
Yeah.
All right, and next question is, what's your favorite machine in the community?
Well, there's a couple actually. This one's kind of simple, but I remember at the time it was very new. Uh, but I don't know if you remember ElectryDragonite's Skittles machine, where you just like put your hand up.
Oh yeah, the hand sensor one. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean those products already existed, but and I've thought of that idea too before, but I don't know, for some reason it never came to reality, and he made it, and that was very cool for some reason at the time. Um, Then another machine is honestly Astonishing Studios' new machine, the McDonald's one.
Hmm.
That was crazy. That was crazy. That's one of the best ones I've seen, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when that ElectryDragonite Skittle machine came out. I was actually like really surprised. Like nobody's really thought of that. Just a hand motion dispenser. You get Skittles in your hand. Like that you see that in real life, and hasn't even been implemented into a simple Lego machine. But that was really cool to see back in the day, to see something just that simple be so mind blowing to us. And Astonishing Studios, the someone else also mentioned that that latest machine was their favorite build. And yeah, he's definitely up in the game in Lego machines, always trying to innovate and improve his machines and just really boost up from what he's been making throughout the years, and especially with what he's been studying in university. I think it was like mechatronics or something. Like that'll really help him with his future machines.
Yeah, but that actually reminds me, I do want to give a shout out to two other machines of his. At the time, obviously, but his Cheerios machine and his Burger King machine at the time too. Um, his machines have always been great. You know, he always comes out with something. It's kind of very cool. And I remember the Cheerios one was the first of its type too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I remember the Cheerios one. I think that one, I can't remember if that one was sponsored or not, but that was really cool to see a Lego machine being sponsored by a company.
I believe it was featured on some news company.
Yeah, yeah, I think I remember that too. Um, he's definitely good exposure for the Lego machine community, and to see something just made out of bricks turn into something other people outside of the community see.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree.
All right, and next question is, what's your favorite part of the community?
We were part of the community. Um, when I was first starting out, just how friendly everybody was. Um, I just went and commented on a few videos, and people started commenting on mine. Just everybody, and then I collabed with a few people. Almost met up with a few people some at times, but that never really worked out. Yeah, everybody was very nice and welcoming.
Yeah, that part of the community is really pretty much everyone said that. It's just the community, the people are really what makes the community so good. And especially when you pointed out that like commenting on other people's videos and they comment on yours, that's really how the community grew into what it is today. Just little channels supporting each other, uh, whatever upload they can, and that really built up the community to where it is today. And without that, it would not be a community. It would just be a bunch of Lego machines with people with common interests, but not able to really say what they want to.
Yeah, just like gaming channels, for example. I have a few friends with gaming channels and stuff. I mean, no shade or anything, but gaming channels are very hard to build up because it lacks that. Um, yeah, but so that's definitely the thing I like the most about the community.
Yeah, especially because it's such a niche community. Um, how it's just like they're Lego machines. It's like it's not like Lego in general. Like it's a pretty big fan base for Lego. But once you get like deeper into it, specifically Lego machines, that's less common and more complex version of what Lego is capable of. And that really brings the community together, especially since it's like so small. It's a lot easier to communicate with other people and really grow the community that way.
Hmm.
And next question is, has machine building helped you in some area of life?
Actually, yes, and a lot. Um, it's been a very important part of my life since I've had the channel. Um, I started it in ninth grade, my first year of high school. By the time I graduated, I mean, that's kind of when was around the time I was stopping to post videos as frequently. Um, but throughout high school, that was the one the one thing I really paid attention to. I had sports and all, but I dedicated most of my time to that. I was having a lot of fun with that. Now in college, I found myself building a lot of projects that include NXT Mindstorms, and Lego bricks and stuff. I actually have one on my desk right now. Um, yeah, it's like I'm using more advanced stuff, but I'm still using everything I learned and the different mechanisms I would think of or see other people build. Those have helped me out a lot.
Yeah, I've mentioned this in a few other podcasts. I've found that a lot of us older builders going into like university and college and stuff. They're going into programs that relate to Lego machine building. Like there's as Astonishing Studios went into like mechatronics, robotics engineering, and there's a bunch of other people who went to some similar programs. And like there's programming and design. Like there's all these programs that are sourced from making Lego machines, and it's really cool to see how just like a few bricks stacked up together created this career and opportunity for people to find jobs in the real world that connect to this.
Yeah, exactly. I remember I honestly started my favorite machine at the time. The one I started with was I think the channel was J Lego or they had a lot of random videos. It was just like Nerf guns and like little machines and like it was a very simple Skittles machine, but I didn't have enough Lego bricks. It was like this small. I have enough Lego bricks and I just kept like making it smaller, making the mechanism work smaller, um, like on a smaller base plate. And that went to Mindstorms, and that led to bigger machines. And now I'm studying robotics as well in university. I think I knew since then that I would probably end up doing something similar to this.
Yeah, and that's a really good point you brought up. Like you just had like limited bricks, but you still dedicated to build something and make the mechanisms and try to make it work. And that's really all about what Lego machine building is. It's working with you have and making the most out of it. And I've seen a lot of the current generation of builders. They've said like they don't have much Lego bricks, but they're consistently making new machines, and they're small machines with like the same colors, but there's so many variety. And I've seen a few builders like they're constantly making machines that we haven't seen before with just limited amount of bricks. So it's really cool to see, and it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing after they uh, move on to college, university, and life afterwards, and see how it goes from there.
That actually makes me feel very old. I mean, I'm not old. I'm 20. Damn, I am old. And never mind.
All right. Next question is, what type of machine would you like to see someone make?
You know those Japanese vending machines? I mean, for example, they might have like a something that would cooks food inside, um, or like for example, has popcorn, makes popcorn, gives you the flavor you want instead of having the food already ready. It's like a maker machine.
Yeah.
Uh, I would like to see a lot more of those. I know there's been some around. Um, Even when I was posting back then, I kind of liked that idea. I mean, that's really what blew up my channel, the slime maker. Or whatever, even though it was not exactly the same or as fully automated like the Japanese ones, I do like maker machines. And hopefully, I would like to see one made out of Lego bricks that's as functional as those vending machines.
Yeah, that's a really cool concept. I've seen that sometimes, but I think it's a good opportunity for people to innovate and invent from. And I've starting to see that from big builders like ElectryDragonite and Astonishing Studios. They're really trying to build machines, as you said, that like make things, and it adds a whole new level of um, engineering and creativity. Um, and adds like a whole bunch of new machines and opportunity for people to grow from.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. Honestly, those machines are. I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes, especially with uh, McDonald's one. I think that was the most complex we've seen so far.
Yeah. And next one is, what are you up to nowadays?
Um, not much, honestly. School, work, that's it. I'm a junior in college now. Have about a year and a half left, hopefully. So I've been very busy. This semester has been one of the hardest, actually the hardest semester I've ever had and the busiest I've ever been. Um, I've just been trying to keep up with school, trying to apply to different internships here and there, um, and we'll see where the future takes me.
Yeah, well, that's life, and that's life after Lego machines. It's real life. You gotta keep moving and make your way.
Hmm. Yeah, but I mean, the good thing about it is, although I'm not on YouTube as much, I'm not really going on my channel specifically a lot, like looking at my subscriptions and all. Um, I still look up different machines to look at different mechanisms and all. For example, that machine I have for my project over there, it was a chain reaction machine, like a Rube Goldberg machine, but they communicated through Wi-Fi, and it's supposed to be the world's largest Rube Goldberg machine. So it should be a Guinness World Record. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. So I just have one of the sections out of the what 60, 70, because each person has a section, but I made mine using Lego, Mindstorms, another microcontroller, like breadboards and all, and C for coding. So that stuff is still very relevant in my life. It's a lot more advanced, but I'm still using that stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear. All right, and moving on to the main part of the podcast is, what are your opinions on the past Lego Machine community?
What's my okay? I actually do have an opinion about it. That's kind of weird. I was thinking about that just this morning. Um, Back then, the community was nice. I mean, the smaller channels coming together and all. But I noticed that it was very, I guess, how can I describe it? Like toxic at times. Um, I mean, people collaborated and stuff. That was still happening. People were nice to each other. But the way I looked at it, I didn't want to copy, or I hated when people copied something that was mine, or people would get mad about that and stuff. And it's like, whatever, just use them. It's all right. I used to get bothered by like simple things. I mean, some of the stuff was, uh, I it's fine to be upset at. I don't want to mention specifics or like people or whatever. There's a few instances where something was not even a machine. Actually, whatever. I'll mention it. It was a title. Um, One of my machines got a lot of views. That person copied and pasted exactly my title as their video title. Um, the machine was fine, whatever. Do a machine, but that was just a different. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're actually the first person to say anything bad about the community so far, so that's good.
Mhm.
That's good to get new perspectives.
Yeah.
Um, I do remember some people getting ripped off by other builders, not giving credit to their mechanisms and stuff. Um, but from my point of view, just on based on what I've seen, it happens sometimes in the past, but I see it a lot more currently in the new wave of the community. There's a lot of builders that are copying off each other, and everyone's getting super mad, and they're getting mad about other parts of other stuff unrelated to machines. But that's the insider stuff of the community. Every community's got some negative aspects, and it's good to know about those.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad or anything, and I would say the positives definitely outweigh the negatives by a lot,
Yeah,
like so much. But that was just like something that used to annoy me at the time. Also, another thing that I think is what made me not post as much is because I was usually trying to one up myself every single time. And at some point, I was just running out of ideas. I mean, or it would just become too difficult. It would take too much time. It felt more like a job rather than a hobby at that time. People, I wanted to keep posting. People wanted to keep seeing videos. I wanted to keep improving it, and that just wasn't possible. And because of that, that's another thing that was kind of tough. Kind of felt like I had to one up myself every single time, or one up my competition in a healthy way. Um, but yeah, that was a little much for me as an 11th grader, 16-year-old, or 15, I think at the time.
Yeah, that's the exact same story for me. Um, can't put it into any other words. Exactly how you said it. I just couldn't come up with ideas. I was always trying to do the best machine I could possibly make for every single time, and that really limited my ability to create more machines because I was always trying to make the best machine, and that really slowed me down so much. But it was really cool to see you post like 5 months ago from this podcast, just a machine with whatever you had, and it wasn't it's not your greatest machine, but you just built something just to build. Um,
Mhm.
and I feel like a lot of people, especially older builders, where they're moving on to life and they're getting busier. A lot of them, like I'm not saying they should, but a lot of people are just cutting out Lego machines completely. But it's fun to go back to your roots and see like what you did in your childhood, but like take it from a perspective of not trying to be perfect and just build just for the fun of it. I feel like that's a big part of the community that's been lost through older builders as they're trying to improve. But hopefully, the new generation of builders don't feel the same way, but they could do the same. But
Mhm.
it's really a differential thing for all of us.
Yeah, I honestly with my last machine, I just built it to just build, to just post it on there. I didn't use any fancy setup or anything. I did have my lights out, but I don't have a camera, so I was using my phone. I don't have a phone tripod attachment, so I built one out of Legos. Um, it was such a simple video, and the machine wasn't that simple, but it wasn't anything crazy either. Um, and it was kind of nice to just build and post. Views weren't good at all, but whatever. It's okay.
And that's what it's all about. Just like what we were talking about earlier, just working with what you have.
Mhm.
Um, that's that's really the basis of building machines, is working with what you have. Don't work beyond what you can. Just work what you see, what you know, what you feel like building, and just do that for every machine. If you're going to be a perfectionist like Astonishing Studios, building these amazing machines on a semi-consistent basis, then go ahead. If you're able to do that, do that. But if you're really trying to, or if you're feeling the negative aspects of building machines, draw yourself down and go back to the basics.
Yeah, at the time I stopped posting, I believe a lot of builders, uh, everybody was around the same age at the time too, but a lot of builders were starting to slowly leave and not post as much. And I believe it was the same issue for almost everybody. Just forcing yourself to one up yourself. Not every video is going to get as many views. Not every video is going to be as good. Sometimes you not might not be happy with the editing, or the machine might just be bad. Just doesn't work well. But that's okay. I mean, it's not that serious. It was a hobby, and we took it too seriously, and that drove us out.
Yeah. Um, moving on to the current community, if you're familiar at all, what are your opinions on the current community now?
I haven't been keeping up that much, um, but I have seen a few, some machines here and there. Some people are doing great, actually. I've been very impressed by certain creators, um, even some of the older ones too, the ones that are still posting. Some of them make great machines. I can think Amazing Creations actually has been impressing me a lot. I'm not sure if he posted, in a while, but from what I last saw, it was very impressive. I honestly respect them for posting videos about whatever is trending right now. I mean, that's honestly the best way to grow. Like Among Us videos and all. I mean, at some point it's kind of annoying, but just a few videos and all. I respect that because back then when I built my slime machine and slime was like everywhere, that video got a lot of views, and I just didn't want to build another version, like a tutorial version, for example, or anything else. I was so stubborn about it, but I should have, and I respect that they do that now.
The YouTube algorithm was quite different back in our day. We always try to figure out how we can grow our YouTube channels, but we couldn't really figure that out. I think Astonishing Studios was kind of like the only one who really got success out of doing that.
Mhm.
Um, but these newer builders, they're really um, impressing a lot of people with how they're following the trends and they're building off of that, and they're growing really fast, like so much faster than we did back in our day. And I've seen a lot more people doing that too. Like it's not just a few builders back in the day who are these big channels. There's like probably close to 10 or so small channels that are consistently getting so many subscribers and so many views and consistently growing their channel, consistently making machines. And they're really capitalizing on that.
Hmm. Yeah, at the time I was one of the fast growing channels at the time. Um, but I could have grew so much more if I just stuck to it. I mean, it wasn't just my slime video or whatever, but I guess I used brands that were very popular at that time, like slime and squishies and Oreo and like Cheetos or whatever Talkies, I guess. Um, that was the best thing and the smartest thing I've ever done, and I wish I stuck to that. But I'm very glad that new builders are doing that and growing like that. It might not be the most entertaining for us, but for everybody else, the people want to see those videos.
Yeah. And with all that you've said, what do you see the future of the community going?
Honestly, I think a lot of channels could get bigger than uh, include so Astonishing Studios obviously, and a lot of the smaller channels that are growing pretty quick. Um, I believe I could see them growing even bigger than we've ever seen. So for example, Astonishing Studios right now has about what 700,000. I believe we'll see a few channels in millions, maybe honestly, in a few years, 5, 10 years from now. Just like how the cardboard community, for example, blew up and became that big overnight. I think we're gonna start seeing that happen with how fast everything is changing and how fast channels are growing.
Yeah, it's hard to predict the future, but it would be really cool to see some builders really pop off and grow the community to numbers we've never seen before. Um, but I've also seen kind of a different version of the community building, such as with MLS Production. Um, a Russian Lego machine builder who's like almost has as many subscribers as Astonishing Studios, but he's making all of his machines in Russian, and that's a whole different community that has less people speaking English, so it's their own little niche community, and they're growing their own version of the community back there in Russia and in Russian speaking countries. So it's it's really cool to see the variety of how Lego machines are expanding.
Hmm. But yeah, I agree with that. I've heard of MLS Productions and all, and now that I guess that we're talking about him, I do want to mention that also, although channels might be growing like that quick, machines like there has been for a certain amount of time there was a time where machines weren't really improving. It's kind of stuck, especially with the YouTube algorithm and all. Uh, some creators might decide to just get the views rather than have cool machines. So I just honestly don't watch a lot of videos on my subscription whenever I go on there now, just because I've seen something similar before. It would be nice to see a lot of innovation while I guess trying to balance between innovation and views and the algorithm and all of that.
Yeah, that's also what I've seen. Like it's really cool to see how people are consistently making machines, but uh, like honestly, I barely watch a lot of these videos. I just watch whatever catches my eye. If it's a machine that looks nice on the thumbnail, I'll go watch it. If
Mm.
it's one that's just gray and not interesting, I won't watch it.
Yeah,
Um,
thumbnails are important. They're very important.
yeah. Um, and that's nothing we can control. It's their decision. But as the experience we've had throughout the years, it's kind of sad to see that the community is not continually expanding through all builders and innovation. But at least it's this version of the community is growing the community more for a lot of builders. A lot more numbers going into the community than we did back in our day. Um, so that's a good thing, and a lot of those builders can innovate from there, but only the future will tell.
Only the future will tell. I'm very excited to see where it goes because I don't think it's just gonna die out. I think it's gonna keep going, whether it's a lot better or slightly better. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, that's it for those questions. Do you have anything else to add?
You've heard my story, and what I'm up to now. Obviously, there's a lot more to it. There's so much that we possibly can't fit in here. But I can just wish us the best for the future. Um, Hopefully, my future. I mean, I'm trying to become an engineer, so hopefully that's what I have next. I don't think I'll post unless I have something that I really like that. Um, Probably not using Mindstorms or anything. I've always thought of creating an arcade, like a full-on arcade with a Raspberry Pi, just to share on my channel. It's a common project, but it's cool to me. So I might post anything that I really think is cool, and if I ever get to it. Besides that, my priority is school, uh, and I don't think I'll make more Lego machines after school. Kind of, we're getting old and kind of outgrowing it, maybe here and there, but maybe not much that I'll share online.
All right. Well, that is our time for the Lego Machine Community Podcast. Thank you so much for making it this far into the episode. Um, just give your supportive comments over to Awab, and also known as BlahBricks. Uh, see where the community takes us with all you new generation of builders watching this. This podcast was really made to inspire you and to learn about kind of like the history and the machine builders of the past, and see what our thoughts and opinions are on the community, and see how you can improve upon them. So that's it for the episode, and we will see you next time.